guys, today we're going to have a look at a Revell Easy kit. This is the kit for a Liebherr 900. Now you commonly see these Revell Easy kits turned into RC excavators, and usually it's the tracked version of this digger. It's very common to see that on YouTube where someone has built the tracked version of this machine, but I chose the one with the wheels just to do something different because obviously I already have the Hitachi excavator, so this will be a little bit different. We'll have to add steering to the model rather than two motors for tracks, so that'll be a bit of a difference. Probably the reason that you see these Revell Easy kits being used so much is that the model is entirely plastic, which means that the boom is very light, makes it very easy to lift up and down. The downside is maybe that it's not as nicely finished as a die-cast vehicle, but still it's nice enough. Another benefit to this model is there's no glue, no paint required, so it all just snaps together, which is pretty ideal for our situation because we're going to want to put it together and take it apart quite a few times to build our radio controlled version. It should be pretty much the same as the Hitachi, except that we'll have to add steering to one of these axles, and we'll also have an extra degree of motion in our boom here. So you can see we pivot here, pivot here, pivot here, and pivot here, whereas the Hitachi only had 3 pivot points. So that'll be another thing that we'll have to get to when we get to it. So I guess we'll just have a look through the different pieces of the kit, and we'll start to build it. One thing I should say about these Revell Easy kits is there are 3 of these construction kits. There's this wheeled excavator, there is a tracked version of this excavator, and there's a wheel loader. The only problem is that these kits are now discontinued, and as a result they're getting quite hard to track down. The wheel loader, I've been looking for the wheel loader for the last few weeks. I was keeping an eye out for one, but I haven't been able to get one yet. So you know, these kits are, as they're discontinued, they're getting kind of rare, kind of hard to get. That's one thing. So here's all the parts that we get. It's obviously all plastic molded parts, and we have our little instruction book. So a couple of things to start. Here's the seat for the operator, and you can see it's hollow on the inside. That looks to be about the right space for one of the motor driver chips that we done a video about before, so we can hide stuff in there, no problem. Back of the body, quite a bit of space in there, so that should be pretty good for hiding motors and stuff. The base itself, you can see here there's a little bit of space for to add steering. Looks like it'll be a little bit tricky to add the steering. There's not much there, but we'll just see how we get on. So I'll open all these bags out and organise everything, and we'll start the build, and then we'll have an idea of the dimensions of the model once we have it finished, and what we're going to be able to do. So I'll do that. So when you spread out all your parts, you'll see that a lot of them are in these plastic frames. So we can just separate the pieces from the model by fracturing them with the stress, and then when you get here you can see you have little bumps now left over, so you can use a file or a scalpel blade and just take off the edge now. It's better to do that now, because if you try to do it when the model is built, or if you have to come back and do it later on, it will kind of be a little bit annoying, because it'll be harder to do with the other parts of the model in the way. So we'll just sand down the little bits with the blade or with the file, and then we'll assemble the thing. So I'll do all the bits. The magic of video editing, that'll all be done by the next clip. Okay, so now that we have all our parts prepared, we can start to build the model, and the first thing to do with is the wheels. And straight away, very first step, and I find something that I don't like. These tires have a lip on one side, so there's a lip going around there. On the other side there isn't. Now, to save money, well, presumably to save money, Revell have done every single tire identically, okay? So that means if you want the treads to match one set of tires, rims are not going to be the same. So this rim, we'll say on the left, okay, is going to sink into the lip. It's going to be flush, and if we keep the tread the same, so the lip was on this side, now there's no lip here. So if we push this rim in here, now we have one lip, or one hub that is flush in the tire, and one hub that protrudes from the tire. So that means that on the other side you have to have the tire like this if you want the hub to match. So our treads are backways, but there's nothing we can do about it, so we'll just continue, make the model like that, and it'll have to do. So we'll just do that for each tire now. 3, 4. And the same with the other hub. We'll put the inside hub into the lip as well, close it into one of the tires, and these are just press fit obviously, so we'll press that in for them all. Press fit again. So that's a front and a back tire. See, the treads match for that side, okay? So, because they're on the same side. But if we take an opposing side, so here's the shoulder axle. I think this is the two front tires. So now if you look at the tread, see, the treads do not match. The outside tread is kind of going in this direction, whereas this tread is going this direction. So the treads on opposite side of the model don't match. It's not a big deal, but still, you know, it couldn't have cost them that much more to design the tires properly, I suppose. So that's a little bit of a negative point about the model, but anyway, it doesn't matter, it's good enough. So the next thing we need to do is the axles and the base of the model. So we take the axle, it's just press fit. Everything is press fit, so the other, oh, wait now, yeah. So we'll push these two in here. A little bit of play in that, not great. Anyway, it doesn't really matter that, because obviously we'll be replacing the axle when we're making the model radio controlled, so that won't matter for now. It's good enough. Oh no, sorry, maybe I didn't push it hard enough. Yeah, sorry, I didn't push it hard enough. There's no play, so that's okay. Oh, have I made a mistake already? Up here I have these. Oh yes, okay, so I've already made a mistake. So we need to put our blade rams, I suppose, into the model. So that'll obviously go, oops, so the mistake I made was I left out these little ram pieces. So that'll go in there, into that connector point there, mate with that. Then the other one go in there. Axle goes through. Right, I'll put the wheel on. So like I said, this is for the blade. So when we're making the model radio controlled, we'll obviously have to well, cut away the cylinder for a start, because that's just going to get in the way, and then round this off so that this can move up and down with the blade. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be. It doesn't. We might have to completely redesign this piece and you know, do a fresh version of it. So next piece is the blade. Should be this way. So that should just push on. So there's the blade pushed on. Obviously it's fixed in place. It doesn't move. Then we want these two pieces, the side pieces. This next piece. So that's the next step. Hold on, it's not a great fit. Okay. Next piece, put the body together. This all should be pretty easy to take apart when we want to make the model radio controlled. Next piece is the little operator's seat. Operator seat. Then we need to stick these exhaust pipe and the handrails. These are quite brittle, so you want to be careful when you're taking out this these two pieces with the mirrors on them. They're pretty difficult or pretty delicate, so you could break them very easily. It's the second mirror. Not sure if probably supposed to go in like that, maybe. There's actually a key on this one so that it goes in the right direction. That's that. Now, oh, I see. I was just going to say, I don't know why they have shown us this picture, but obviously they want us to stick this together, but it already comes pre-assembled. So there's the cab. Okay, so the next bit we need to do is this lower arm cylinders. bolt in the lower half of the cylinder, and the second cylinder, if we can. Okay, so there's the two cylinders. There. So next we need to assemble the boom. We start with the bucket end of the boom. We need to put on a cylinder, one of the longer cylinder pieces with the, I suppose, the cylinder housing. Squeeze that together. Then we need to put in this kind of connecting piece. We need the shortest cylinder, that sticks in there. I'll take this back out. So this is going to have to, this piece is going to have to connect in there, so we'll just start it off. Has to be there. Squeeze that through. It's a little bit loose looking there, but it's not too bad. Okay, so there's our first kind of cylinder in. It's not too tight. It's pretty good. There's a bit of a gap there. It's not perfect, you know, but you know, you wouldn't expect this model to be as good as the Ross model of the Hitachi, for example. You know, that's a proper die-cast model. So you would expect a few discrepancies in one of these plastic models. But again, this boom is made of plastic, so it's an awful lot lighter than the Hitachi, which is easier for from a radio control point of view. So next main section of the boom, one of the housings, that has to go in there, like so, and we need another boom bit, or another piece of our cylinder in there. Join that together. Another section of our boom. Nice and smooth movement there as well. That's good. We'll move on then. So now for the lower end of the boom, we need one of the rams. We'll put that in there. We need one of these pins, tiny little pins. That just holds that in place. So get that in there. Okay. So we have to do the same for the other side as well. So just put our bit of our cylinder in and push the pin through like that. Now go back to our boom here, and we want to connect this direction. Okay, so we need our cylinder to be the rest of our cylinder. So we'll push that in there. That should fit into that slot there. Okay, so that goes there. And we just close this in on this side. That will be our third axis of our boom. That's not very or that's not a lot of movement. So hopefully that won't be too hard to recreate on the when we're making it RC. Although it might be easier just to leave that at a fixed distance and, you know, just focus on making the rest of the excavator RC. But we'll see. We'll cross that hurdle when we get to it. So the last bit is this kind of I don't know whether this is a quick hitch mechanism. It kind of looks like a quick hitch, but we'll just see how that turns out. If I can get it on. Okay, that goes, should go there. Okay, that's not a great fit. I've done something wrong. Well, that appears to be how that goes. It's a pretty awful fit, but I guess that's just the way it is. So what can you do? This next piece is the bucket, has to go on here. So it's not really quick hit, you have to put these pins through it. So let's see. Okay. Those pins. Maybe we'll be able to make that into a quick hitch when we're making it radio controlled. It mightn't be too hard. We just need to get something to close off the top half, and maybe we could use one of those micro servos like we used for the fifth wheel of the Scania. Okay, so that's that. That looks pretty good as well. So we've all our movements of our boom. Very close to the end now. Just have to assemble this final piece. One final pin. Okay, that's that. And now we just assemble the rest of the machine. So that goes in there. Not too bad. This goes down here. And then we need to put the cab on. I have to go into this slot. It's very tight, so I don't know whether I have made something wrong or not, but anyway, there it goes. It's pretty tight. Okay, so the last thing is the cab. Now my cab isn't fitting perfectly, so I had to take it apart and squeeze it down in sections to try and get it to fit. So hopefully this will work. It might not. Okay, that's kind of together. There's a gap there, so that's not perfect. And as you would expect, with every build, you always forget a couple of bolts, and you wonder where they come from. Well, I happen to know these come from in here in the blade. So that's all there is to the Liebherr model. It's not the best build quality, but what would you expect from a plastic model? I mean, it's not going to be as good as the Ross model, obviously. You know, there's things like the gap in the cab and stuff like that, but it is extremely light, so for RC conversion it should be pretty ideal. Although space wise there's not a huge amount of space in the boom of the model. So if you like that video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you have any comments or suggestions on how to do the RC conversion, head over to the forum. We'd be more than happy to take any advice, and hopefully I'll have a follow-up video to this in a couple of days, or not a couple of days, it'll be probably a couple of months really before I get it completely finished. I might have updates on different parts of it in follow-up videos, so I'll probably try and tackle the lower half, so the drive and the steering first, and we'll see how that goes. And obviously the blade as well. I want to get the blade working that'd be a nice feature to have. The boom with having so many axes might be pretty difficult, so but we'll work through it and hopefully it'll be a pretty good model in the end. So like I said, head to the forum if you have any questions or comments, and other than that, thanks very much for watching.